The thing is, I never fit in. I was never popular, I didn't have that many friends growing up, and I still don't have that many friends today. But something that I realized as my frontal lobe develops is that I never needed to fit in. The thing is, something I'm realizing is that fitting in is overrated. And I'm not trying to say this as someone who's never fit in, trying to be bitter of those who have fit in life. But I guess the awakening and the revelation that I've had around it is, what's the point? What is the point of fitting in? Just to have a lot of people like you, but diminish yourself in the process? To hide who you truly are just so you can be socially accepted? To have everyone in the world fall at your feet over this false version of yourself that everyone thinks that you are, but nobody truly knows who you are? What's the point? Because something that I realize is that many people who are concerned with fitting in or being liked aren't truly who they actually are. They don't really know themselves. They don't really know the person that they are. They don't really know the ins and outs of the person and the human being that they are because they put that away in order for everyone else to accept them. And so I'm wondering, what's the point? Of course, everyone wants to be liked. Of course, I want to be liked. Of course, I'm a person and I desire connection. But I realize that if that connection comes at the cost of me losing who I truly am, not even knowing who I truly am to begin with, then what's the point? If I would rather have 100 people in my life that barely know who I am and only like a version of myself that they think that I am, what's the point? I would much rather have 4 solid friends, let's say 4 quarters over 100 pennies. I'd rather have 4 people who genuinely know me and genuinely care about me and actually take the time to get to know the ins and outs of this complex being that I am, rather than 100 people who just like me on the surface. And maybe that doesn't make me popular, maybe that doesn't make me liked by everyone and their mama, but maybe I don't need to be. Because we have this tendency to want to be liked by every single person that comes our way. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not shameful, it's not bad. You're human, we're human, that's natural. And when someone doesn't like all of this, we think that there's something wrong with all of this. We think that we have to be liked by everybody else. So we start to strip away different parts of ourselves so we can be liked. But something that I realized is that it's okay not to be liked by everybody. In fact, I don't want to be liked by everybody because not everybody deserves my time. Not everybody deserves my presence. And I don't mean to say that in an arrogant way, but I mean to say that in I have a limited amount of energy as a person. I want to spend that energy on people who actually fuel me and actually give value to my life instead of just spending it on everybody in hopes that they would like me. And something that I realized is that when I don't try to fit in, when I don't try to conform in order to be liked by everybody, I actually feel free. I feel free to be myself, knowing that I don't need everyone to like me. I don't need everyone's approval and validation because I have my own. And that's the most rewarding approval that I could ever receive, is my own approval. Because if I don't approve of myself, I'm gonna go to bed every single night with this haunting feeling inside of me because I sleep alone. And even if you do sleep next to someone, you're still gonna feel this haunting feeling within yourself if you don't have a good relationship with who you are. And I get it, not having friends sucks. I understand what that feels like. I understand how lonely that can feel. But I want you to understand that when you are by yourself and you enjoy your own company, it makes up for so much that you're missing. It makes you realize that I can have peace with myself. I don't need 100 people in my life to have peace. And if someone does not like me, then that doesn't say anything about me. It doesn't take away anything from me, and it doesn't take away who I am. The thing is, you are not for everyone. You're like a cup of tea, and not everybody's going to like your flavor, but that means that you just save that flavor for the best people and for those who actually like it. And when you stop trying so hard to be liked by other people, you start to tap into who you actually are, and you start to get to know yourself, knowing that I don't need everyone to like me. In fact, I don't care if everyone likes me or not, because I would rather be free. I'd rather be free in my expression and free in who I truly am. And if everyone were to like me, I could never be free because I would have to put myself into boxes for everybody's approval. But I realize that there's so much freedom when you don't fit in. You become more self-directed. You become more in tune with what you actually want and with who you truly are. So even if you don't fit in, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not a loser. In fact, I would say that you're more of a winner than anybody else. Maybe I'm being a little bit biased, but you know what? We all are biased a little bit sometimes. Because I realize that it's either you fit in or you're free. And I would much rather be free. I'd much rather be at peace than to bend over backwards trying to get myself to fit in and to have everyone like me. So just know that you were not meant to fit in. You were born to stand out. You were born to be the authentic version of yourself. You were born to shine in this world. And if you fit in, it's hard for you to shine. But if you stand out, then everyone can see how wonderful you truly are. But just remember that I believe in you, but I just want you to believe in yourself. I'll see you guys next time.